Welcome to my channel, Tessicola Art. I'm going to be introducing a new medium called India ink. It is such a beautiful medium. There's really a lot you can do with it, and it's very intricate. There's a lot of value scales that you can still create. As you can see, I'm doing an experiment and seeing how many values I can get down, and I'd recommend doing this before you start drawing anything real big. Just get a feel for the medium if this is new to you. It takes a while to get used to, but once you play around with it for a while, it will start to grow on you. I always like to start with the eyes because there's a lot to them, and there's a lot of detail that I want to include and make sure to show and not leave out. Ink is really a matter of not just getting the values down. It's, knowing what to make light, knowing what to make dark, and how to manipulate the ink so that it does what you want it to do. And that can be a bit of a challenge when you're just starting off. But with a lot of experimentation and a lot of practice, you can really learn to master ink. And it really is a lot of fun, and you will get the hang of it as you keep going with it. Here, I'm really being mindful about how I am getting these dark areas down and the detail that I'm including with the eyelashes, the direction the eyelashes are going in relationship to where the eyeballs are positioned, and going in on the side of the nose here to add some dimension and a little bit more form. The one tip I want to make sure to give about handling ink is this pretty much goes for all of the features. You want to start with the darkest areas and gradually go lighter, using water to get rid of some of that ink to get the value scale or the values that you want, and the highlights and the shadows. Really, it's a matter of how you handle the ink in a gradual way that will allow you to achieve some really incredible effects. Again, I'm starting with the darkest area on the nose here and gradually going lighter with my brush, making sure I get a good amount of values just in the early stages of doing this nose here. Already it's coming to life in just a few applications with the brush and the ink, and using my tissue a lot to create very interesting and appealing texture. I did quite a few edits with the mouth, but it's always such a process with every feature. You learn different things with each feature as you do them, especially in this medium. As you can see, I am using my tissue a lot here to go easy on the value. I don't want it to be too dark, even though the upper lip is usually a lot darker than the lower lip. There were more highlights in the lower lip and glossy areas, I guess you could say. I focused on making sure I got the shape of the mouth, and if you think about it, your features, it's really all about getting those shapes correct. I've probably said this in previous videos, but the shape of everything is, that's what'll help you capture that likeness, when you get the shapes accurate. I even had to make quite a bit of edits with the mouth and change a little bit of the shape of it on the side here. As you're seeing, I used my tissue as the eraser and tried to lighten up that value a little bit and change the shape of that upper lip there and create some more darker values just to give it more dimension. Once you get a handle on where to put the darkest values and the lightest values, that is when a form will start to emerge. That is when it will start to look like a face. Just focus on those highlights and shadows, get to know them, study how they hit the face, study how light and shadow create convex and concave structures. This will help you master portraiture. With the cheeks, you want to be very subtle in your application with the ink. I'm using my tissue a lot to lift up some of that ink and to make the value a little bit lighter and the ink itself a bit smoother on the paper and gradually building those cheekbones up. As you can see, it's just all layering. It's all about getting layers and being really mindful of how you apply them. The hair is my favorite thing to do in ink. It allows me to be a lot more expressive with my marks and a lot freer and more widespread with them and just a little bit more carefree. But with hair, like with any portrait, you want to study, the direction the hair strands are going to make sure the hair looks realistic. And with the rest of the skin, as you can see, I am using my tissue and I'm constantly lifting up that ink, making the ink smoother, the transitions between these areas on the skin smoother. The tissue is a really great tool for achieving that. Her neck and clothes, or her skin and clothes rather, are different textures. With her skin, I used the tissue to get that texture quality. But for her clothes, I mostly just used the brush to get a silky texture because her clothes are very silky, and the brush allowed me to do that. The finishing details, that's when you want to go in and add more definition wherever you see areas that may need it, like around her hair, where her hair and her skin and her clothes intersect. There are some very dark values there that I actually needed to go darker with. I also lifted some of that ink around her cheekbone there. It's this stage of the drawing, the finishing touches, when you see what needs to be edited. I decided to give her a background that had a little bit of value scale gradation, where it went from darker to a little bit lighter further in the background there. I thought it created some interesting depth. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, please like it and subscribe to my channel, Tessacola Art, if you have not, so I can keep teaching you awesome skills and techniques and how to use a variety of fine art mediums.